Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Good night of Shabbos. It is 1 o'clock instead of 12 o'clock, and I apologize for that. What can I tell you? No excuses, just an apology. Now, we're learning the Maimed, Moshe Kibul Torah Misinai, from Tafshan Lamed Ches, which is Parshas Nosei, which is the same, of course, as the Parsha of this Shabbos, Parshas Nosei. In that year, as you can see, Yud Beis Sivan was Shabbos. This year, Yud Beis Sivan was yesterday. Tomorrow is Yud Daled Sivan. So it's not exactly the same kviyas, but it's pretty close. In other words, tomorrow in Shul, we're going to be reading Pirkei Avos Perek Rishon, where we're going to say, of course, the first Mishnah in Pirkei Avos, Moshe Kibul Torah Misinai. So it's very time appropriate. We just spent a whole week, 5 days, learning a Maimed. Shoresh Mitzvas Hatefilla was quite a Maimed. And we're back to our regular limud, right? As you know, we're learning Maimonim from Tafshin Lamed Ches from 1978. And we've had opportunity to supplement because of the quarantine and the interruption of a lot of the regular classes and other things which allowed us to have time to learn Maimonim, for better or for worse, for more or for less. And we're learning this Maimed in a small way, in a very small way, maybe more than in a small way. This Maimed is a continuation of the two Maimonim of Shuas, right? There were two Maimonim of Shuas in Tafshan Lamed Ches. I think one of them was B'Shah Shekdima, one of them was V'daber Elikim is called Dvarim Ha'ela Leimer Anoichi, and it talked about the idea of Leimer, that a Yid is ein acher HaKoirei, and Leimer, that anytime a Yid learns Torah, he's repeating after the Eibishter, and of course Leimer, that we're supposed to say Eisias HaTorah Davke B'Dibur. In this Maimed, we will reference that Maimed, so I wouldn't call it Mamish a Hemshech, but there's a lot of similarities. First of all, it's Moshe Kibul Torah Misinai, right? Moshe Kibul Torah Misinai is about Matan Torah. So clearly, Maimed that speaks about Matan Torah has a connection to Shavuos. That's this man Matan Torah Seinu. But again, I want to make this clear. This is our regular year, Tafshin Lamed Ches. This year, Tafshin Pei, from Yitzes Kislev to Yitzes Kislev, B'li Neder, Obezer Hashem Yisbarach. We have been learning, we continue to learn the Maimonim of Tafshin Lamed Ches. And this we're holding. Moshe Kibul Torah Misinai. Let's go. I just want to say that we're not learning the Maimed in order. We're learning the Maimed in question and answer. Okay, there's 3 questions and there's 3 answers. The first question is answered first. The second question is answered second, and the third question is answered third, which is a little bit atypical, because typically in a Maimed, the first question is answered last, and the second question is answered the second last, and so on. But in this Maimed, the Rebbe asks 3 questions, and then he proceeds to answer them in the same order that he asked them, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to learn a question and an answer, a question and an answer, and a question and an answer. The plan is, Emir Hashem, today we'll do the first question and answer, and we'll do it on Sunday. Whenever we do it on Sunday, I'm assuming it'll be around 7 o'clock. We're going to do the second question and the second answer, the third question and the third answer. It's not a very long Maimed. The Maimed is Karga 7 pages. It's 6.5 amudim. So here we go. It's based a lot on Ayin Beis. Very geschmack stuff. Very moidendik oasis and Hemshech Ayin Beis. If I had more time, I'd have looked them up in the original. But moidendik averted. That the Rebbe is going to quote from Hemshech Ayin Beis. So here we go, and of course everything is numbered. As you can see on the first page you have 1, and then after that you have 7, because question number 2 is on Shin Chav Tes, as is 3, 4, and 5 are on Shin Lamed Aleph, 6 is on Shin Lamed Beis, and then of course 7 gets us back to Shin Chav Zayin, which we're planning to do on Sunday. So here we go. Moshe Kibul Torah Misinai. Moshe Rabbeinu received the Torah from Sinai, and Mesara Yeshua v'chul, he gave it over to Yeshua, etc. Says the Rebbe, this is the system, the order of the transmission of Torah, l'klal Yisrael, to the collective of Jewish people. L'kol echad Yisrael, to every individual Jewish person, midei l'dei, from generation, as save kol hadeiros, till the end of times. And of course, this is one of the most important words in our tradition, is the word misoira, an oral tradition. Torah git meniber. You don't take the Torah, it's given to you. It begins with Hashem giving Teda to Moshe Rabbeinu, and the Eibush is called Hamalamed Teda Lamed. So it's literally Moshe Rabbeinu's Malamed. And from then till the end of time, Teda is transmitted from a Rebbe to a Talmud, a Rebbe to a Talmud. My mother's father, Olav Shalom, used to tell me all the time, my Zaidi, Stern, that he heard from his teachers that Teda is written in such a way that you can't learn it without a teacher. You can't learn Gemara without a teacher. And you know the same thing is true of Tanya. You cannot learn without a teacher. It was written in such a way that you must have a Rav Meir who teaches you. Because Mesoida is very important. In other words, it's important that it's transmitted from a person to a person. You don't just read it in a book and you're very bright, so you gather it. Mesoida, you have to give it. Because when you give it, first of all, you give it the intellect of the Torah in a whole different way. But the Ikri is you gave Kedushas HaTorah and Avas HaTorah and the Elokus of Torah, which a piece of paper cannot transmit the way a Rebbe, the way a Malamed, the way a teacher, the way a tutor can. I heard, I forgot from whom, that the Rebbe said to someone that he himself is a Malamed, and I believe that he also told somebody the Eibush is a Malamed. The Eibush is called a Malamed. The Malamed is I've told you this many times, that when the Rebbe used to write to Shluchim and to Askonim, he would write Eisik B'tzarchei Tzibur. When the Rebbe would write to teachers, he would write Malachte Melechas Shamayim. Malachte Melechas Shamayim. Malachte Melechas Shamayim means you're doing God's work. Because the Eibush is Malamed Teda. And it begins with Moshe Rabbeinu. So Hashem taught Moshe Rabbeinu the Torah, Moshe taught it to the Yidden. Now the Diyukim of the Maimed are going to be in the form. It doesn't say Hashem Mosar Torah LeMoshe, it says Moshe Kibel. And then it says Umisora. And both of these words disturb the Rebbe, because he feels, the Rebbe does, that the preferred word should be Matona, Nesino. It should say Hashem Nasan Torah LeMoshe, and Moshe Nasna LeYeshua. The Maimed is going to revolve in part around these two words, why it says Moshe Kibel and then Misora. We know the diuk of the Rabbeim, and he means specifically Nesidah, the Friedrich in his Maimed. And if you look in footnote 2, you see it's a Maimed from Tafshin Beis. And he asks this question: the Klolos HaMesira, the Torah Nikras B'Shem Nesina, the word that typically denotes the transmission from Torah from generation to generation is the word Nesina, to be given. Matan Torah. It's called Zman Matan Torah Seinu. Then of course every day we say B'Birchas HaTorah Nos, and Lana was Torah, and we finish Neisen HaTorah. It's so obvious that the preferred allusion to the communication of Torah from the Eibishter to us is Matana and Nesino. And of course there's two parts, as the Rebbe is going to say inside. One part is that he gave it to us, and the other is that it was given to us as a gift. And therefore the kasha is Imkein Lama Madgish Kan. Why in the first Mishnah Pirkei Avos is the emphasis Moshe Kibel Torah Mesina? Moshe took it. It wasn't given to him, it was Makabelet. It doesn't say V'lei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nas Nasa Torah LeMoshe, rather than say that the Eibush gave the Torah to Moshe Rabbeinu. Oy Misinai Nitna Torah LeMoshe. You could even say Misinai Nitna Torah LeMoshe, but you should use the word Matana, Nesina, or Kiyetza B'zeh, rather than the word Kibel, Kabbalah, and Mesira. Now the Rebbe is going to go on and ask other questions, which we're going to leave alone. We're going to deal with this one question. We say Moshe Kibel, Moshe took, rather than say HaTorah Nitna LeMoshe Rabbeinu, and Torah was given to the Moshe Rabbeinu, we say Moshe Kibel. And of course the other word, the question about the word Mesoida, will also become of consequence, if I remember correctly. So now I'm going to ask you to turn to page Shin Chav Tes, where you have the answer. Akashem Tateret, that's how we're going to learn. It's Akasha Tateret, Akasha Tateret, Akasha Tateret. We're not learning it the way the Maimed was said. We're learning it in such a way that it'll be easiest to remember and understand. And Im Shagisi Hashem Atei V'Chaper. V'Hine. Number 2, Siv Gimel. In Yinzeh, this idea. Hapul the Matan Torah, the idea that Torah was given in such a way that it's Bam Shoch Ala Mata Davka, Torah comes up to this world, says the Rebbe Koshur depends Im HaKabbalah the Moshe Davka, on Moshe accepting it Davka. In other words, that the Lashon HaMishnah, Moshe Kibel Torah Misinai, the most important word in that phrase is not even the word Torah. And it's certainly not the word Kibla, it's the word Moshe. And this is the answer to the question, why does it say Moshe Kibla rather than HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nasan HaTorah LeMoshe or Misinai Nitna HaTorah LeMoshe? Because you want to emphasize Moshe Kibel. Only Moshe could get it. Why? This is the answer to the first observation of our Maimer, of why the Maimer describes the event and the Sinas HaTeira as a Kabbalah by Moshe, rather than by a Nesina or a Mesira by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Even though arguably the only thing that really matters is that even though logic, common sense would dictate that the key component of this episode is that Hashem gave the Torah. And then the Rebbe adds what I told you before. The word matana has two connotations. Pirush aleph beifin shel nesina. The first is that it was given. And Chazal say kol hanesim v'yafa nesim. When one gives, he gives generously. Upirush habeis. And the second is beifin shel matana, was given as a gift. Now I have a Schwierigkeit da, because l'cheira kol hanesim v'yafa nesim means matana. I mean, what kind of nesina is there that's not a matana? So I don't understand exactly how there are two ideas. Number one, that it was given. Number two, that it was given as a gift. And specifically why the Rebbe brings the diuk of kol hanesim ba'yafa nesim connected to the word nesina and not connected to the word matana, because that's what the Gemara talks about. Whether you say kol hamoicher ba'yafa meicher ba'yra moicher and kol hanesim, and of course the halacha is, we say always kol hanesim ba'yafa nesim, kol hamecher ba'yafa meicher, but it's a different yafa. That you're much more generous in nesina than in a mechira. This is the halacha. So l'cheira the diuk is matana and not nesina. So I don't understand, but I don't have to understand. I'm just pointing it out. The nature of the gift is that it's the Eibish's most precious thing. It's the Eibish's pleasure. So l'cheira, what matters is HaKadosh Baruch Hu nasan as HaTeira liyisrael. Emphasis on the word nesina and emphasis on the word Torah. Nesina means that he gave it, and that he gave it generously because it's a gift, and that he gave us the Torah, which is his precious treasure. Says the Rebbe, nevertheless, our first question was that the description of the Mishnah of this event is that Moshe Rabbeinu took the Torah from Sinai, and there's a reason why it's described that way. And that's but is as follows. And to say it in a sentence, if there be no Moshe, there be no Kabbalah Nesinas HaTorah. Moshe is not just a convenient player in the Nesinas HaTorah. He is a necessary requisite. And Hashem cannot give the Torah to the world without the intermediacy of Moshe Rabbeinu, because Moshe Rabbeinu's muhus is that he's able to take and transmit the Torah. And the Mishnah makes this point by saying Moshe Kibel, rather than saying HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nasan, because Moshe is vital in the transition phenomena, the transition process. It's like a little bit like the V'yata Tetzaveh, what the Rebbe always says. Normally, when Moshe Rabbeinu was given instructions, he's simply passing along God's words. In V'yata Tetzaveh, it's not Hashem telling Moshe what to tell us. He's telling Moshe what his job is, to be mitzvah, makasha, or chaber Yisrael, and stuff. It's the same here. Moshe Rabbeinu is not just giving us the Torah. He's makabel v'neis Torah. He has to be the one to take it and give it for it to reach us. And he's masbir, says the Rebbe v'yu, and brings my basis in the third chelik. The Moshe Rabbeinu hayakli legili erachokma. Moshe Rabbeinu was a vessel to receive the revelation of the light of Chochmah, because he's in that madrege, and the Torah is in this madrege, and the Eibishter gave the Eir HaTorah Chochmah to Moshe Rabbeinu, and he transmits it to us. Now, Rabbi Sai, how do I pause here and explain to you what the Rebbe is saying? I'm going to give you a mashal, okay? I've given this mashal before. I think it's just helpful. The Mittler Rebbe has a maimer. Which is called Hishtadchus, right? It's printed in the Maimarim of the Mittler Rebbe, I believe. And now it's printed also. They gave it a Sefer HaHishtadchus right after Gimel Tammuz came out, a Sefer HaHishtadchus. The Maimer of the Mittler Rebbe is printed there. In this Maimer of Hishtadchus, and by the way, the Maimer of Hishtadchus used to be printed in the old Minor Lashon, those small little formatted Minor Lashon, for those who remember. The Maimer was printed and it was taken out, and I don't know why it was decided to remove it. The Rebbe put it in. But anyway, the Mittler Rebbe's Maimer of Hishtadchus speaks on 5 levels of Hishtadchus, 5 different levels, 5 different reasons for Hishtadchus. The first 3 are nigladika reasons about the Maskin Aliyeh Mamise and other things that are very practical, to instill fear, to inspire people to tshuva. The last two are mystical. The last two are spiritualistas. What's the idea? The idea, I guess, from in the minor lashon itself, you have the expression neshama min neshama ne'etzeles. A soul and another soul experience a meeting which is called atzilus. So let's talk about this, okay? A person meets a person. I meet you, you meet me. So there's a meeting on a lot of levels. Obviously, we're physically close to each other. We can share feelings. We can express those feelings through actions or through words. We can share ideas. We can express those ideas through words. And then there's things we cannot share. I can't give you my neshama, because my neshama is an infinity which I don't own, and I certainly can't transmit it to you. Right? I can physically do something with you. I can give you something. You can give me something. We can physically interface. We can share emotion, and we can share ideas. But neshama you cannot share. Why? Because the neshama is never in the body. The chaya yechida, the highest levels of the neshama, are never revealed in the body. So because the highest levels of the neshama are not revealed in the body, I don't have control over them. I, meaning the conscious human being, doesn't have control over his subconscious. So my conscious self has three levels: nefesh, ruach, neshama. That means action, emotion, intellect. Those things are in my body. I can consciously control them and I can consciously transmit them. Chaya yechida, the subconscious of the neshama, I don't own it, and therefore I cannot transmit it. So the minor lashon says neshama neshama ne'etzeles. Neshama ne'etzeles is an interesting idea, which says that a soul touches a soul without the intermediacy of the body. It's like if you have a person and another person. Every person has what you would call a halo, or a chuppah, a makif, an energy field, pheromones. When two people are near each other, it's a fact of life. Sometimes you feel very comfortable next to another person. Sometimes you feel very disturbed next to another person, and you don't even know why. You just sense that something about that person is right, or something about that person is wrong. And that sense about what's right or what's wrong about that person is subconscious. You're feeling it in the level of your nefesh, which is above your guf, which interfaces with the nefesh of that other person without passing through the guf. In other words, my nefesh communicates to your nefesh through my arms and legs. My ruach communicates to your ruach through my heart and my words and my actions. My neshama communicates to your neshama through my words, through ideas. Yeah. My chaya connects to your chaya by touching each other directly. There's no goof. So you sense each other, you feel each other, you don't know what you're feeling because you don't know how to process, you don't know how to interpret a soul experience, but it's a very direct experience, which is the idea that sometimes you're in a room and you feel comfortable, sometimes in a room you feel not comfortable. This is called in Torah chuppah. Two people stand next to each other. Each person has a chuppah. Two people stand next to each other. It's like about an electron that revolves around two atoms together. They create a larger chuppah. This is what a marriage is, a chuppah. The chosn has a chuppah, the kala has a chuppah. They come together and they create a single chuppah. And there's an energy, a makif energy that joins them. This is what chaya yechida are. They're the level of the subconscious of the neshama. They're not in the body. So the body can't control them. The body cannot communicate them. But when they interface directly. So to use an old expression, go into a rebbe, there's a meeting of nefesh and nefesh, ruach and ruach, neshama, chaya and chaya, nechida and yechida. 5 levels. The nefesh and nefesh meeting between the chassid and the rebbe is the two bodies are in the same room. The ruach and ruach meeting between the chassid and the rebbe is emotion. The neshama and the neshama meeting between the chassid and the rebbe is intellect. The chaya and chaya meeting between the rebbe and the chassid is subconscious. And the Yechid and Yechidim in Chassid and the Rebbe is essence. The difference is the first 3 happen through the body. It comes out through words or gestures. And the last 2 happens directly. So when a person is physically not present or physically not available, in other words, you can't act with them, you can't emote with them, you can't talk to them, give ideas. So you can have a meeting, a proximity of souls. That's Ishtadchus. A tzaddik lives, even though there is an inyan from and histalkas, and you go to his tzion, so your nefesh and nefesh can't talk because your gufim are not interfacing. Your ruach and ruach can't talk because the gufim are not interfacing. Your neshama and neshama can't talk because you're not interfacing. But Yechaya and Chaya do. And the Yechid and Yechida do. Because it never happened through the body. Because it never happened through the body, the fact that the body is in a different condition doesn't offset the relationship. This is Hishtadchus. A soul meets a soul. The body's not in the way. That's why it's Neshama. And Neshama itself, it's a meeting of two souls on an Atzilus level. Atzilus means a light level, emanation level. It's not an idea. It's not a feeling. It's not an action. It's a light. And the difference is ideas, feelings, actions are through the body. That meeting is not available by Pashtas when you go to a Tzion, when you go to a Oyel, when you go to a Beis HaChayim. But the soul-to-soul meeting, direct, is available. Because on the levels of the subconscious of the neshama, it was never in the guf, so the guf is not a ma'alim master. That's such neshama and neshama, that's all. So the Middle Rebbe explains that people who are very hamadrega, very sensitive, when they mishtateach on a kever of a tzaddik, and of course, if you learn Tanya, you get a sakedish, especially if a tzaddik from who is your Rebbe, from whom you learned, and from whom you continue to learn, and in whose ways you continue to go, v'chuli, there's a direct meeting of neshama and neshama. The neshama of the chassid and the neshama of the Rebbe touch. It happens to everybody who goes to the oil. People on a very high madrega experience it. People on a very high madrega go into the tzion and they feel the neshama bonding between one person and another, between a Rebbe and a chassid. Just like B'klal, there are subconscious bonds between people, between a chassid and a Rebbe, between a yid and a tzaddik. There's a special kind of a bonding, but it's a bonding that happens at a level which you cannot process. It's just light. It's your light and his light interfacing, right? Your energy field, your makif and his makif being in proximity, so they become one makif and both are circled together. So you're in an intimacy with the tzaddik and you experience the light of the tzaddik. But when you experience the light of a tzaddik, it's an incredible experience, no question about it. But then you leave, and when you leave, it stays there. You can take it with you. So there's a higher level. And the higher level is fantastic. The higher level is that some tzaddikim go to the tzion of a tzaddik and they experience hishtadchus, they experience this ha'atzolah, neshama v'neshama v'netzeles, and they have what's called hasagis. They actually take away ideas. Meaning to say that they experience the light on a level of light, but they experience the light on a level of light with such a thoroughness that they can take from the light ideas. The metaphor of light is a metaphor of Ein Sof. Ideas are finite.